So we have our data. We have a nice field separator between each part. So it should look something like this last column here, right? Now that we have something consistent, we can write formulas to deal with it and tear it apart for us. And so my strategy is going to be something like this. Here's that first row out of the Nevada one. And there's an @ symbol that happens to be in position 10. There's another one in position 21. And the last character in this list is 28. So those three numbers are important to me. So I need to find out where those positions are. So I'll use some functions to do that. And then we can use other functions to take parts of that string and place them in a separate column. And then, well, let's just do that part. All right, so parsing, separating the data apart. Okay. There's a find function that simply says look through a string and return the position that you find it. So like here I'm saying look for the @ symbol in A3 and it comes back with 10. It says the first @ symbol is in position 10. That's all it does. Okay. I can't remember which switch. Hold on. Okay. There's another function that does exactly the same thing, almost exactly the same thing, called search. The only difference between the two, and I can never remember it, one's case sensitive and one's not. And this one happens to be, as it says right here, is case sensitive. So if you're in the future, if you're searching for like the capital A or some capital letter or something like that, then you'll want to use find. Otherwise, you can use either one of these functions. They work exactly the same. All right. So I found that. So that means I know that that person's name is in the first 9 characters. Because that @ symbol's in the 10th, and that's exactly at the end of where the name is, right? Or 1 character past, actually. So now that I know that, I can get some characters from the left-hand side of that string, which is right here, and I just say left. The left function simply says take a certain number of characters from the left-hand side of the string and put them in this cell here. So that's all I did here. It said from A3, take B3 minus 1 characters. B3 is the 10th character in this instance here, which is where that @ symbol is, so 1 less than that. So take the first 9 characters and plop them in this cell. Okay, simple enough. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need to find this second @ symbol. So to do that, I'll use another find, but this time there's a third parameter. Okay, find the text, the @ within A3, the same thing, that the whole long character string. And this time I'm saying B3 plus 1. If you leave that blank, it assumes it tells it to start from the very left-hand side. If you put that number in there, then that's where it starts searching. So here what I told it to do was start in a character position 11, 1 past where that @ symbol was, because it'll start looking in that whatever position you tell it. So if I told it 10, it would find that @ symbol and it would return the 10 again. So here we're just telling it to ignore the first @ symbol and look for the second one, in essence, and it says it's in position 21. Okay. So now I know that that person, what they're famous for is in here, between 10 and 21, right? And I also noticed that there's a space here at the beginning of this, which I'm going to get rid of too, so that all I'm picking up is that. So to do that, I use the mid function, which says take something from the middle of a string. We just want a little snippet of something out of the middle. So the way this one works, it's pretty much the same as left. From the text that's in A3, that whole long character string over there on the left, starting in position, the starting position, B3 plus 2, right? This @ symbol's in position 10. There's a space there, which is in position 11. So I want to start in position 12. So I want to start 2 to the right of that @ symbol. And then you tell it how many characters you want to pick up from that starting position. And then that would be this 21 minus 10 minus those 2 extras, because again, I don't want to pick up that first @ symbol and I don't want that first space. That makes sense? And then again, it just drops that into that cell. Okay. All right. So I've got their name in one field, and I've got their career paths, what they're famous for, in a second one. The only thing left to do is grab their place of birth from the right-hand side. Okay, so now I'm back to here. I need to find how many characters there are total, because then I know that their birthplace is roughly between those 2 numbers. Okay, well, I know this number. I just found that. And so now I have to find this. And to do that, there's a length function, len, length function, that simply says how many characters there are in that string. So that returns that 28. Okay. So now I know how many characters are, and I can use those 2 numbers to figure out how many characters from the right-hand side of the string I want to get. So over here, we'll use the right function. And in here, you just say, okay, from string A3, take a certain number of characters from the right-hand side. And that would happen to be this number here, 28 minus 21 minus 1, because there's that leading, again, there was that @ symbol space, and I wanted to get 1 over there. So, and that takes care of that. And I just grab the stuff from the right. And now I have this stuff more or less broken up. Ooh. Well, I'll hop in here. Huh. Oh, well, I can see why this one came out. Because see here, this one came out wrong because there wasn't a space here. Somehow I didn't put that in there right. Anyway. Okay. Now, and then I'm going to leave this part to last. We'll do this in the next, I'll do another little demo here. I saved the hard part for last. That's going to be a little bit more tricky to do, but we can do it. Okay. Now, I want you guys to do the same thing. So here's the first thing you need to do is this. Take your last column here, the one that's all done like that, and copy, paste values on that next sheet, the P2 sheet, so that you can work with that. You got to paste the values, not the formulas, and then you can go ahead and use those functions to break it up into 3 columns, okay?